if I don't play into this hookup culture thing, I'm not gonna have any interaction with anyone. Like, I mean, have any romantic interaction, which is just sucks, you know, because screwing around is not intimacy. So I'd rather be alone than experiencing that type of thing. And so many women feel that way now. There's not much that guys can offer, you know? And I'm speaking from a women's perspective, you know. I just, honestly, I do think that women by default have more to offer than men. I'm sorry about it. We take more care of our mental health, our appearance. Usually, we are more empathetic and easier to talk to. So I don't know what men really contribute anymore nowadays, and it sounds really bad, but like, just be honest. Just be honest, you know. If there's a man who at least is working hard and providing, not just taking the bare minimum jobs that they can do like when they're young and then sticking with that for the rest of their lives, thinking that's enough. Like, you can't, that's an entry level thing. You start the job market with that. You do that when you're young. And when you approach your 30s, you should, in my opinion, aim to go higher. So either you educate yourself more, or you try to get more experience in something that gives you more money, because over time we have inflation and all of these things going on, and we need more income. You can't just have a random really low level job and then think you can provide for a woman, because nowadays it's just not the case. So if you're in that scenario, your partner would have to work as well. And if that's the case, that you're both working, you need to pull your weight. You need to be able to not only not be a burden, like living wise, that you make a mess, that you expect the woman to do everything, but also emotionally speaking, sorry, it's a bit loud. Emotionally speaking, you have to also provide something. And that's just, I noticed how a lot of men are so resistant to that. They rather just complain, moan, and bitch about women having high standards. You're a loser. Like, honestly, you're a loser if you do that. You know why? Because you have problems and you don't improve them. You expect somebody else to do it for you. You expect women to do it for you, for example, maybe because you have mommy issues. You know, if you see a problem and you're not able to improve it as a person, and I'm not even gonna say as a man, but as a person, you are weak and you need therapy. I'm sorry. It's not a bad thing. I went to therapy even recently. It's really good. It helped me even with just my business, like, because I'm starting a fashion brand, and I didn't know that it's not just about, oh, the technicality, like, oh, you do a business, you learn marketing, you learn this and that. It's really personal. Like, your personality comes out, because if you think you're shit, if you think you're not good enough, you're not going to do the things you need to do. You're not going to have a motivation, for example. And that's what I'm going through, you know. But yeah, so I've had a really bad experience with a guy who was pretending to want to be friends. And I knew he didn't want to be friends, okay? I knew it. I'm not naive. But it was really bad how much he was trying to manipulate me. He was pretending that we're hanging out, all of these things, and then as soon as nobody was watching, so to speak, he tried to make moves on me, which, I mean, okay, you can try to make moves and see how the person reacts, but I didn't want to. Like, I didn't want to kiss him, for example, and he kept pushing. And it was actually a bit scary, because if people don't respect your wishes, that's scary. And then when you feel like the man is actually pouncing on you in a way, I'm not saying like completely doing something illegal, but coming on to you, right? And you feel, even though the man looks like this man, he wasn't that tall. I don't know. I don't remember how much. Like maybe like almost my size, right? And he was quite slim. You feel the strength and you're like, oh, like if he wanted to go too far, he could. If he really wanted to, he could. And thank God he didn't. But it was traumatizing that, it was so traumatizing that I had a dream about it, like him cussing me out and being upset that I rejected him. And that's so sad that you feel like as a woman, you can't just be respected in that manner, you know? You can't just say, well, you know what? Even like you do something, let's say like it gets intimate a bit, and then you're like, actually, I don't want to. Actually, I changed my mind. I'm not feeling this for some reason. A lot of women don't do that because they feel there's so much pressure and they feel bad and they're like, oh, that's unfair for the guy, even though, like, what? What do you mean that's unfair for the guy? What about you? What about you? And then, like, I feel with all kinds of guys, like guys who pretend to be serious and then they're not, who pretend to be serious and show that they're serious, but then they chicken out because they're too avoidant. And so many, like, I get all of these videos suggested because a while ago, my channel was, well, not my channel, but I was making videos about these topics more back then. And I get, like, the algorithm suggests certain things to me, like compilations of guys kind of being honest, yeah, and like nice guys and saying what they think. And they complain about the wrong things, honestly, because they're so self-absorbed, they're so obsessed with themselves. They're obsessed with if they're tall enough, if they're is big enough, if they have enough money, if whatever, if they have body hair. Like I don't know, that was something that just randomly, just a random comment. That's something I never understood. Like a guy wanting more. No, it's just so weird. Maybe because I'm not really like that into white guy, because you know, like a lot of a lot of ethnic guys, let's say it like that, I don't know if this is politically correct, I don't care, don't have a lot of body hair, you know, and I'm more into those guys, so I don't like, yeah, I don't like it. But anyways, they worry about the wrong things. They really worry about the wrong things, and yeah, again, they just blame women, and that's so, I wanted to say a bad word, but that's so pathetic. It's so pathetic. As a person, you should be able to evolve, right? Like you, at a certain age, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about over 25. You should know yourself enough. You should not be like that toxic where, and that's the thing, like if you don't want to develop yourself, you have to accept your life. And there's people like me who really are really hard on themselves and really try to improve and go to therapy and work on themselves, try to be very balanced as a person, even though it's never perfect. But there are people who really try hard and work on their, you know, communication and reaction and everything and emotions to become strong. And then there's people who will say, well, that's why you're single, because you're strong. Like that doesn't make any sense. You know, I'm talking about these nice guys and these red pill guys or whatever. Like you want women to be back in the state where they didn't have many rights, where they were kind of forced a lot of times, even if they forced themselves because they feel like oh, that guy's providing for me, so I can't complain, for example. You're complaining about the wrong thing. And I know it's not easy, but the other thing is that most women are very, I would say they don't have high standards at all. It's not that it's not that hard to impress a woman. If you're kind, and I'm talking kind, not nice, because nice is an act. Nice is an act. You're being nice. If you're being kind, you're truly kind, like no matter what. Like you don't care about getting something in return. But these so-called nice guys want something in return. That's manipulative. Because you should be more direct about these things. If you want to be physical with somebody, if that's your main thing, go about it that way. I'm not saying you have to go and pay somebody for it. But there are women who are desperate and need validation in that sense. And I'm not saying it's a good thing to take advantage of it, but there are women who are willing for that. But they don't want that. These guys don't want that. It's not satisfying enough, probably. It's like they want the woman who's not easy because it gives them more of an ego boost. But more and more nowadays, there's more and more awareness of these things, of these dynamics. And it doesn't matter how much you complain about it. That's what it is now. That's what it is. There's nobody else in my house, so it's my cat. What are you doing? Yeah, about 2 years ago, I was a bit lonely because I was in a long relationship, and then it ended, and then it just felt like I didn't even know who I was anymore. I didn't know who I was anymore, so I felt very lonely, and I didn't realize that it was more about me and how I didn't find myself. I had to still find myself again because I was with somebody while I was young. Like we first got together when I was 17, and then all the way until my mid 20s we were together. Not obviously, but there was like breaks in between, and it was a very difficult relationship. But basically I grew up with that person, so outside of that relationship, I was barely alone. I was barely alone, so I didn't really know who I was anymore. And that made me feel very lonely because I just felt like something was missing from my life that was outside of me. Like this person was gone, and now I'm empty. So I wanted validation, for example. I wanted just people to show me they wanted me. And that happened. But then it's always sleep with me. It's always that. It's always sleep with me. And the funniest thing about it is that I don't engage in suggestive type of flirting. I don't talk about these things. I don't lead with these things. And guys seem to only focus on that. I changed the way I dress. Nothing changed. Nothing changed. So that's how I know it's not me. I went to therapy, all kinds of things. I behave differently. It's always the same thing. And oh my God. I just think it's this mentality of consuming, and we consume people now as well. This is a separate issue that I wanted also to touch on, which I wanted to make a whole video on, but I think, I don't know, I'm just gonna say it now. Friendships as well. I live in a big city, and people take a lot of time for working. Then you have to travel, like going home can take quite a bit. You can easily spend 2 hours a day just traveling to and back from work, and you're exhausted, and there's not much time for yourself. There's not much time for anything. We know this, right? So it's not easy to find relationships, find friendships. But I was just thinking, what are we doing it for? We're doing it to buy things. And yes, it's to buy to pay your bills, but you know how everybody says that the cost of living is high, which it is. I'm not denying it. But these people earn twice as much money as I do. And I personally feel like I only need like a little bit more to feel, well, a little bit. It depends what I want to do, right? Like if I want to start traveling, obviously I need way more money. But just in daily life, I really earn like really little money. Like I don't have much at all. I'm under the poverty line. I don't feel like it because of my lifestyle. Like I don't care about showing off, or I do a lot of things by myself. Like from my home, I do a lot of DIY. I can make my own clothes. As I said, maybe I didn't say it in this video, but I'm starting a fashion brand at the moment. I have an Etsy shop. So I don't feel it, but it is the case, right? And then somebody who earns like 40,000 a year, for example, they're complaining because they can't do the luxury things anymore, like traveling all the time and stuff. To me, it's a bit, and it's so much entitlement. It's so much entitlement. It's actually sickening to me. Because what people are complaining about is that capitalism is not working anymore. That's what they're actually complaining about. It is. You can disagree in the comments, but that's what I believe. And we're exchanging human interactions for that, for items, for things. Obviously, going out, eating, going out, drinking is also way more expensive, and that's a big part of socializing, sadly. I mean, the drinking part, sadly, because especially in the UK, if you don't really like drinking, it's hard to have like a big friend group because it seems like that's all they want to do, you know? But yeah, why do we work so much just to spend money? And then we feel alone. It's really weird to me. It's really weird to me, and I can't break out of this alone. We need more people to realize these things and to just, I'm not saying like we can change everything, you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm not like, yes, I like to think about a kind of revolution in that sense, if I'm honest. But like just mentality wise, being more grateful and being more aware of our human interactions. But for a lot of people, that comes with being confronted with themselves. They're confronted with having anxiety. They're confronted with their insecurities. And a lot of people don't want that. A lot of people don't want that. It's just sad. Okay. So yeah, let me know what you think about all of these things. And yeah, my complaining session is over. I just needed to get this out of my system. I think a lot of people ignore what's behind all of these issues, you know? Oh, cat hair in my mouth. So I believe people are too entitled. I really believe people are too entitled. Spoiled brats, honestly. Yeah, I'm sorry, like we have to, I know not many people like to hear the truth. They won't like me for this, but if you can't face these things, then you truly are weak. And I mean, yeah, it is what it is. I'm not gonna condemn you for it, but at the same time, if you want things to change, and the thing, you know what? The thing is, I'm not talking about people who really feel like who are always hard on themselves, who are people pleasers, and they're going about things the wrong way. I'm talking about people who are entitled, who think the world owes them something, right? Like, I'm also disappointed that I'm not finding my dream partner, for example, or that it's not as easy as I want it to be to go after my dreams, like to have my fashion brand, have it be successful, and all of these things. Yes, I'm also complaining about these things. I'm not saying complaining is wrong, because obviously I'm posting this whole video. But what I'm saying is like the unwillingness to go beyond that, to just blame the outside and then leave it at that. That is a big issue. That's like very, very avoidant, very weak-minded, and that's not gonna change anything in your life. So yeah, I hope we can talk about it in the comments, and I see you soon. Bye.